On a dark, quiet evening, Mr. Zoinks found himself wandering the shadowy halls of his old, creepy mansion, the kind of place where the silence seems to have a life of its own, whispering secrets you'd rather not hear. Mr. Zoinks wasn't a man easily scared, but tonight was different. The portraits on the walls seemed to watch his every move, their eyes following him as he tiptoed past. He could feel their gaze burning into him even when he wasn't looking. You see, it wasn't the mansion itself that frightened Mr. Zoinks. No, it was the people in the portraits. They had a tendency to come to life at night. It all started innocently enough. A few months back, Mr. Zoinks had noticed small changes, a picture frame slightly tilted, a curtain disturbed, nothing too alarming, but then he began to hear whispers, faint but unmistakable. One night he swore he saw the old lady in the portrait of the East Wing smile. He blinked, and it was gone. Just his imagination, he told himself. But as nights turned into weeks, he could no longer brush off the eerie occurrences. His heart raced as he approached the grand staircase. He glanced up at the large portrait of Sir Reginald, the mansion's first owner. Normally stern and imposing, Sir Reginald appeared almost amused tonight. Mr. Zoinks felt a chill run down his spine. He quickened his pace, but no matter how fast he moved, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The eyes of the portrait seemed to follow him, their expressions shifting ever so slightly. And then he heard it. A soft, almost imperceptible sound. Footsteps. Not his own. Mr. Zoinks stopped dead in his tracks. He turned slowly, heart pounding in his chest, and his worst fears were confirmed. The portraits. They were moving. The young girl in the painting near the study door moved her hand, reaching out as if to touch him. The old man in the library portrait turned his head, eyes gleaming maliciously. Panic surged through Mr. Zoinks. He wanted to run, but his legs felt like lead. He could barely breathe as the figures in the portraits continued their slow, deliberate movements. And then, with a sudden rush of courage, he bolted for the front door. He didn't look back, afraid of what he might see. As he reached the heavy wooden door, he paused, glancing over his shoulder one last time. The mansion was quiet. Too quiet. The portraits were still again, their inhabitants frozen in their frames. But Mr. Zoinks knew better. He knew they were waiting for night to fall once more. So the next time you find yourself in an old house surrounded by ancient portraits, be careful. Keep an eye on them. Because you never know what might be watching you, waiting for the cover of night. And remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones that stay silent until they don't.